on this highway.
But we had checked out the country. And the 12 volt system's also not working, so we can't charge anything. Between 5 and 10 knots of wind, I think, and we're sitting at around 4.5 knots. Alright, we just finished in immigration, got our stamps, and now we go to aduana or customs, which is in another town, and then we go to the port captain, which is in another town. Yeah, it's already, this is beautiful Punta Arenas. You can see why we didn't bring the boat here. It's just a big port town. But yeah, it's only like 9:30 and we've already got at least the first part done, so we're getting there, we're making good time. It's quite the process though of just paperwork and a lot of mucking around, but yeah, we're there. Cool. Trying to call the port captain. We just did the customs, so the final stop's port captain. This is a busy road. Checking out involved a lot of waiting in offices, which gave us time to give thanks to mobile phones. So that's the port where we had to go into. I mean, we could have brought Chuffed here, but there's really not much here, except industrial roads and a few restaurants. Well, we're waiting for the bus. We keep thinking things for the bus. I stopped filming because things got kind of annoying, because we went to the port captain and had to go back and pay this fee at a bank and then go back to the port captain.
Here we are on this highway.
But we had checked out the country, officially checked out, so that's very good news. And now we're just waiting for a bus to go back to Herradura, and then we'll maybe try and do some other things tomorrow. I thought that was a bus. Yeah. So we probably won't get to any of the shops we were planning on going to, or the chandleries, but mañana is a new day. So, alright, back. Alright, our water taxi is almost here. We've got water bottles to fill, laptops to upload videos, got to get fins, go visit the chandlery. We've got a lot to do, so we'll head in. A local sup rental let us fill our water jugs for free and then watch them while we went shopping in town. We are in a real life chandlery with things that I can use on the boat. And it's going to be amazing. Alright, good morning crew. Yesterday I did a little bit of filming, but then as always when I go shopping and things I stop filming because I just get overwhelmed by everything. But I went to the chandlery, a hardware store, a grocery store. We ate a bunch of good food in Harco. It's a pretty cool town. Managed to get like half of my video uploaded, and then the internet's so slow so I had to do the rest via my mobile phone back on the boat, but you'll have a video up. And today is like a day of basically just getting everything ready so that we can kind of start leaving the country. We'll be going from here 60 nautical miles to a bay up in Guanacaste. But before we do that, I have to get my navigation lights working because they are currently shorting out and blowing the fuse every time I turn them on. So I have new light bulbs, new fuses, a bunch of different like electrical connections hidden away in here somewhere, in here, so that I can redo that. And then we got some fishing lures too, very important. And the 12 volt system's also not working, so we can't charge anything, like just the 12 volt chargers themselves, not the whole system. So I've got my 12 volt Bible and my boat owner's guide to mechanical and electrical stuff to read through and help me. And then after getting the dinghy rope tangled in the propeller, the lifting system, I also got some new rope to fix that. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. And while I was at the chandlery, I got like stuff like 5200 and more gasket maker and just other important things like nuts and bolts that are just like insanely hard to find here. So my to-do list today is check the nav lights, get the 12-volt system going, gonna just check the batteries and basically all the voltage of everything while I got the voltmeter out. Then we're doing a bit of cleaning. Jim's probably gonna do a bunch of cooking. He's actually starting that in the kitchen now so that we don't have to cook underway. Getting the videos up for you guys. Jim's gonna jump under and check the hull. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy little day, but it'll be good because then we'll be ready to go. So I'm excited to start kind of getting up to Nicaragua. So yeah, let's get started on it all. So the nav light's the first step because that's what we need to navigate. So basically every time I switch the switch on at the control panel, it's blowing the fuse immediately. So I'm fairly sure there's a short. I'm hoping it's not up there, but I recently redid some wiring to this nav light because it wasn't working down up in here, and I suspect, look at that, found the problem. You can see those two wires are touching because they've become disconnected from my other one. That's going to be an easy fix. Whew. All right, let's get on that, and I'm going to isolate them properly. These two naughty kids had come out of their connections here, and that was creating the short. The wiring on this boat is not ideal. Let me get you down in there. This is the wiring for the windlass, and you can see like he's put this insulation on it and then not really melted it. It's way too big. Anyway, for now we'll deal with this, and wiring the boat is definitely on my list of things to slowly kind of redo and make a bit better. So I'll just open these a little. Can't remember which color is which. For some reason I got white and black and blue and brown wiring, and I can never remember which way around they go. Okay, brown to black, white to blue. I can never ever remember. Why can't they just have red and black everywhere? They've got a sup racing on the beach. That's what all that noise is. Working in tight spaces, so fun. With the nav lights fixed, it was on to the next job. Right. We will replace this. The race is coming past us. The paddle boarders traveling at lightning speeds. Now for the 12 volts. This, and my dad's an electrician, so I called him, and like the nav lights stopped working at the same time as the 12 volts stopped working in the inverter. Just for some reason wasn't turning on, and I was like, oh, I've got some major electrical problem. Turns out the inverter, I just needed to turn on and off again, so that was easy. And then obviously the nav lights we fixed, and this is unrelated. But yeah, my dad's like appalled by the wiring on this boat. I'll show you in a second, but he gave me some tips on what to look for with this when I do this, so yeah, we'll hopefully find the problem pretty quick. Oh my gosh, wires everywhere. So this is my control panel, negative bus bar up here, and then all the wires going to everything. And you'll notice these, I'm going to tape all these and isolate them because I don't want them causing problems. But for now, I'm basically just going to redo each connection on the 12 volt, but leave the wires the same and see if that solves the problem. Check the connections on the back of the 12 volt charger itself, and kind of go from there. This is the 12 volt wire that goes to the front of the boat, sorry, the back of the boat for the other 12 volt system. And then this one goes to the 12 volt system up here. And these are all the connections, the hundreds of connections. So yeah, I'm basically just going to check each of those and just make sure they're all wired okay, make sure this is in place and go from there. So I've switched the 12 volt from this switch, which was where it wasn't working, to this one. I did already just try to replace the fuse, and that wasn't the problem. So I've redone a bunch of the connections, switched it to a different switch, and now it seems to be working. So it seemed to have fixed the problem. Don't know what the problem was, but might have just been this switch blew with like a bad connection, something like this. So even though the fuse is fine, I don't know, but it's working, which is the main thing. So the Coast Guard has anchored like next to us, and they have been just started going up to a few boats in their boat, in their little dinghy. Technically we checked out of the country 2 days ago and we're meant to leave here, but then with like having to get the stuff to fix this wiring and that, we had to end up going into town yesterday. So we've decided to just go around the corner to where at least we're not in the same anchorage anymore, in case, yeah, just in case they want to check our paperwork. So we are moving. It's only like 5 miles, so we're just popping around the bay. Wow, Punta Leona, the land of rich folk.
Power boats everywhere.
Yeah. So we are anchored up at Punta Leona. It was only just like a little hour motor here. We're basically just planning on staying here tonight to do some cooking and other things, and like I said, to get away from the Coast Guard. It's a pretty beach. It has a massive resort on it. We'll maybe go to shore and go for a walk or something later, but for now we're just going to do cooking. I'm going to finish my job. The 12 volt is working, the Nav Lights are working. Checked the voltage of the battery when we started it, and it's very high and good, and the batteries seem happy. So yeah, just gonna do a few more odd jobs. Jim the food prep man. We got beans. We got a delicious pasta sauce. We got some chickpeas over here. We've got more vegetables cut up. There
it is.
You're preparing so much. We lifted anchor the next morning to keep heading north. Alright, we've got maybe like between 5 and 10 knots of wind, I think, and we're sitting at around 4.5 knots. Completely under sail, which is awesome. We have left Punta Leona behind us and are on our way to Tambor. 20 nautical miles. It's around 9:30 in the morning. We've been underway maybe an hour. First part of the day I hadn't charged the camera properly, but it was like we sailed a little bit in one direction and then like the wind just completely died and all the sails came back on themselves, and then so we motored for a bit and then the wind came from a different direction. It was a lot of like playing around, but now it seems we actually have wind coming slightly from the bow. And it's, yeah, really good. Wind is in a perfect position for us. So yeah, we've sailed halfway there, and the wind is currently favourable for us to sail like directly into the bay. So this is some of the most prolonged in one direction wind we've had ever. So it's been really, really nice to not have to tack and adjust the sails 100 times and pull them in and put them up. But yeah, it's been awesome. We are still just cruising along sailing. It's been awesome. And we've started to kind of be able to see the coastline of this Nicoya Peninsula much better, and you can see it's just so mountainous. The mountains just drop away into the ocean. It's really beautiful. So in this direction is the tip of the peninsula that we will round later. This is coming into Tambor and the beautiful coast of the peninsula of Nicoya. Wow. Rank it up in Tambor. There's some fishing boats over here, and there's meant to be a yacht club that looks very, very closed. And there's a really beautiful long beach that just keeps on going. So it's like around 4, so we'll probably just spend the afternoon on the boat doing some stretching, which I think is what Jim had been doing. Go for a little swim probably, and then tomorrow we'll head into shore and do some exploring. Right, we are going to venture to shore here in Tambor. It should be an easier dinghy landing than last time, since there are no waves. We're going to probably put the dinghy over here. We got the dinghy chained to the strongest tree we could find, and we made it without getting dumped. Luckily there are no waves. Jim has not lost his new pair of sunglasses.
Still here.
Yeah, we'll head up to the supermarket. We found a bar and a pizzeria that are very, very close, but we'll go check out the little supermarket. Yeah. That's where we just landed the dinghy. We're up at this little fisherman's dock, gonna see if we can fish and fill up the gasoline. Little fishing dock where all the pelicans hang out, and happens to be exactly where the fish are sold, so I'm guessing they get thrown a bunch of stuff.
Next time you'll be lounging in the yacht club.
Yeah, they are apparently opening it. It looks nice in there, like, but they just need to put a little dock on because the dock just drops away into nothingness. And this is definitely, I guess, like, not the same social demographic as over in Tambor town itself. This is a little different, I think, down here. And this little trail just leads to more little houses and the point. We didn't catch ourselves a fish, but we got ourselves a real nice sized pargo from the lovely fishermen down here. Jim's out here filleting our lovely fresh pargo we just got. Doing a good job. And I'm about to go start cutting up some fruit for smoothies and stuff for tomorrow. And basically, I'm going to show you guys kind of tomorrow while we're sailing and today what we kind of prep so that when we're sailing we're not having to cook as much and things like that. So yeah, a little bit of a food for sailing episode. Right, I'm cutting up a little bit of pineapple and papaya, and they make a very good smoothie together, especially if you add banana, if you've got some mushy bananas, and it's quite filling, so it's just nice on the move when we've got engine power to use the blender. Something else we do before going for like a longer day like tomorrow is fill up all of our water bottles, because it is really hard to do sometimes if you're rolling around or healing. So make sure we've got plenty of water ready to go.
So this is what's left of the pargo. Got some fillets off of it, but there's still a lot of meat in the head and on the bone. So make a soup. What I like to do is just boil the whole thing. Throw whatever you got in there. This is some ginger, garlic, turmeric, and the ends of some carrots. So yeah, whatever really.
How long do you boil it for?
Like at least an hour. Then I'll take the fish out of there, strain the water, and then pick the rest of the nice cooked meat off the bone, out of the head and the cheeks and everything.
Salt, pepper, basil,
yeah,
oregano.
and then just cook the hell out of it.
Nice. And I'm cutting up papaya. It is hot in our little kitchen, but the next thing I'm preparing is some overnight oats. Whoop. So I do 1 cup of oats, like so, spilling them everywhere. And then I get some chia seeds. Pop some chia seeds in, like that. And then some cinnamon. Oh, we're out of cinnamon. Right, I got more cinnamon. Put more cinnamon. Like that. And then I put a little dash of honey. And finally, 1.5 cups of almond milk. This almond milk is unsweetened vanilla, which is super, super, super delicious. I think we're going to have the perfect amount for these overnight oats. Yeah, beautiful. And then they'll be ready in the morning when we go. Right, and then for some apricot and walnut cookies, I've got chopped dried apricot, some chopped up walnuts here, and in the bowl I have 1/2 cup of oats, 1/2 cup of whole wheat, and just like a little teaspoon of baking soda, baking powder I should say. Add that in, put a dash of honey, a little bit of vanilla essence, an egg, and just a tiny dash of almond milk here. Stir it all up for cookies. I'll add a little cinnamon too once it's going. Cookies and fish broth, also delicious.
Okay, step 2, fish soup. And so I will strain it through this into this Tupperware to just get the broth. Here is the fish. And step 3 is picking all the meat out of this, which I will do soon. But yeah, and you can see the
delicious broth.
Delicious broth.
And it goes like a jelly, hey, like when you put it in the fridge and then it's
yeah,
super
after
good.
it sits, it almost solidifies from all the fish oils and fats, and then it's extra power.
Yeah.
Step 3, getting the meat off the bone. Sometimes it's easier with your fingers, sometimes with a fork.
It's nice and meaty.
Yeah. Takes the pressure off a really good fillet job.
That's true. I'm sure you did a good job though. I'm cutting up some potatoes for the soup, and Jim is cutting up some veggies for Gringo Pinto, which is basically rice and beans and veggies. And we already have some black beans that we pressure cooked like yesterday or the day before. And we'll cook up some rice. And then that will be kind of our lunch meal, and the fish soup will probably be our dinner meal. And
sounds about right.
We got the oats for breakfast. Right. Jim is layering the Gringo Pinto. It's got
important sauteed onions and garlic base.
Yep. And olive oil.
Yeah, and then some peppers will go on there. Then some beans. And then throw a little tomato in there. And then to make it a really gringo-y pinto, maybe some spinach or something like that.
And capsicum.
Ah, yes, pepper.
Oh, you said pepper. I was thinking the other pepper.
Yeah, gringo pinto. It's basically gallo pinto, which is traditional Costa Rican. And gringo pinto means something entirely different in Brazilian Portuguese. Dried beans. These are some dried beans from the other day. Cooked them in the pressure cooker. So then they just added this, and they'll put some salt on them, some cumin. That'll be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when it's done, mix it with some rice. Have it with an egg.
On a burrito, probably.
Oh, toss it in a burrito, maybe it's an avocado.
And I actually didn't have a pressure cooker until fairly recently. And honestly, for like beans, it's so much cheaper buying the dried beans and cooking them yourself. And if you soak them for 24 hours, it takes like...
Not even, like just 6 hours,
6
really.
hours.
Yeah.
And it takes, what was it, 8 minutes or something?
Yeah, 8 minutes.
It's really good. It's really, really awesome. And they taste so much better.
And if you don't soak them, then it's only like 15 minutes that you gotta cook them.
Yeah, so easy.
Instead of all fucking day.
Makes so much sense. Pressure cooker. Do it.
Next step in fish soup, step 3 or 4, I don't remember.
4.
4? Okay, step 4. To saute a bunch of vegetables together. We started with onions and garlic, and then potatoes, and then added carrots and eggplants and cauliflower and broccoli. So once it's kind of sauteed up, I like to then add the broth back to it. Normally this would sit overnight, so it would be like that jelly, but it'll turn into jelly tonight. So this adds in, and then let it all cook together for a little bit, and then let it sit overnight, and then we have fish soup.
Yay!
Oh, also, there's no fish in it yet, just the fish broth. In here is all the fish we took out of the head and the spine, and I usually then add that like kind of right when you're heating up the soup to eat. That way it doesn't get overcooked.
Yum. And as soon as the cleanup is done, we are going to bed. And we're probably waking up around 5:30, and yeah, hit the water.
Start eating.
Start eating, yeah. Eating and sailing the whole way. Alright, good night. Next episode is a bunch of eating and a little more sailing than we originally planned for. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you'd like to vaccinate a dog, follow the links to donate. Only $5 will protect a Nicaraguan doggy. Until next time, stay chuffed, everybody.